Descript does a great job in blurring the entire screen. You have different levels of blurring. You can make it from somewhat blurred to completely blurred, which is great. The problem is it does it on the entire screen. And a lot of times you want to just take part of the screen. Like over here, we're looking at the screen here in my community, but you can see that I have this chat that's open, and it's not a huge deal, but would be nice to be able to conceal it if there's something private, doesn't have to be visible. So if I go and I blur the screen, it'll blur everything, which is not what we want. To blur this part of it, one of the solutions would be to actually separate audio from video, and then you duplicate the video track, and then when you duplicate it, you disable the audio on that track, and then you wind up cropping part that you want to be blurred, and you blur it. In other words, it's not impossible, but definitely a hassle to do it. So I think my approach here would be easier until Descript actually fixes the thing. Okay, so basically what we do is we go to elements here on the right side and pull up elements. And then once we have elements, all these different shapes we can pick from. The first thing we need to do is we need to identify part of the script that we want to show the particular concealment in, because usually it's not going to be the entire screen. It's only going to be part of the screen. So in my case, let's say we want to blur this part out right here. So we identified the part we want to blur out by the slashes to indicate beginning and end. In this case, let's start from the beginning here and go to this point here when the video plays. And that's where the blur part is going to take place. Then we look at the elements here, and we've got the element square is the one I'm going to use, and it puts this huge square over here. But we can easily use these little adjustments here to make it smaller. We can fit it exactly where we want to go, like that. And then we can change this one also to be, so it conceals the entire area here. Okay. At this point, it conceals it completely. I mean, you can't see anything. We don't want to make it completely concealed. We want to show a little bit behind it. So if we go with something that's 95% opacity, then you can see slightly content behind it, but you can definitely not read it at this point. If we play this sequence here and just say play, at this point, went ahead just shortly before that and it disappeared. So it only played through this one paragraph here, or this one scene here, and then it just went ahead and opened it up again. So the idea being that you would hold it in blurred format as long as the text you're trying to blur or conceal. And then, once you're done with it, then most likely video will change or something else will change, and then the box will disappear. So you can use different shapes. You can use circles, you can use triangles, you can use stars, whatever you want to use to do the blurring with. It doesn't really matter. Just the idea is that it's the shape that will conceal a particular area. And that's why I use the box, because it seems to me that most of the time you're trying to conceal something in a box or rectangle type environment. And that's it. So again, identify where you're going to start, where you're going to end with the slashes. Those are your scene boundaries. Drop the box into anywhere in this area, so it'll be throughout the entire scene, and then adjust the size on the corners to make sure it fits exactly where you want it to fit, and change the opacity to be anything less than 100. If you want it to be completely concealed, leave it at 100. If you want it to be concealed but unreadable, change it to 95. So there's a little bit of visibility behind. And that's it. I think it's a much simpler approach and at the same time, very workable. If you have any questions, please drop them below. Until next time, I'm Oleg.